Julian and I have been at each other's throats since we were kids. In elementary school, he slipped a live mouse into my desk, so I tucked a dead garter snake into his backpack. After graduation, he mocked me for being an aging spinster, and I spread rumors that he was gay. For more than 20 years, we fought in the open and in the shadows until a car crash wiped his memory. I seized the moment. Darling, don't you remember me? In 3 short months, I had Julian trained like a dog, and I licked the plate clean without missing a crumb. Then the amnesia lifted. I panicked and tried to run. He blocked my bedroom doorway, face blank, exhaling a slow smoke ring. Looking down at me, teeth clenched, he bit off every syllable. Darling, just where do you think you're going? When I got the news of Julian's accident and rushed over to enjoy the spectacle, he was fresh out of surgery. Eleanor wiped her eyes, voice cracking. Julian, there are so many people here. Are you sure you don't remember a single one? Julian lay propped against the pillows, a bandage circling his head. His dazed gaze swept across everyone, then locked on me. I erased my gloating grin, flung myself to the bedside, and clutched his hand. Honey, you've forgotten even me. The ward fell into dead silence. Eleanor stopped crying. A tear still quivered on her lashes. After an eternity, she rasped, Huh? Every last friend of ours looked like they'd swallowed something vile. Julian pressed his lips together. Could you all leave? I want to be alone with her for a while. Everyone filed out wearing variations of shock. He flicked a glance at me, then turned away, earlobes pink. What you just said, was it true? He paused, voice dropping. Are we that kind of couple? I bit my cheek to keep from laughing. Of course. Don't you trust me? I pretended to pout. Julian grew flustered. No, I do. The moment I saw you, you felt different from everyone else. His long lashes fluttered, brushing my heart like feathers. Truth be told, the man was gorgeous. If his tongue weren't poisoned, I might have crushed on him back in the day. I shoved an apple into his palm and hum-fed. Peel it for me. Once I finish it, maybe I'll forgive you. For a second, his face went blank. He lifted his left hand, wrapped in gauze, and asked carefully, but I just had an accident. Shouldn't you peel it for me? Only then did I notice the bandages on that hand too. Post-crash, Julian seemed swapped with a clone so easy to bully. I played shameless, so what? Your fingers still move. If you refuse, you must not love me anymore. Fine, I'm leaving. I spun on my heel. Julian blurted, I'll do it. He peeled the apple clean, sliced it, and fed me piece after piece, expression reverent, movements meticulous. Outside the door, everyone stared through the glass, jaws on the floor. I could read their collective thought. Serena, you magnificent piece of work. Watching him obey my every whim, I nearly cackled aloud. Julian finally in my claws. I vowed to torment him properly. When I told Skylar my plan, she turned pale, flapping her hands. Don't. When his memory snaps back, he'll crucify you. Julian never forgave a slight. I just grinned. He hasn't remembered yet. I'll enjoy myself first. From that day on, I delivered his meals myself. Julian loathed wintermelon, so I simmered wintermelon and pork rib soup every single day. He frowned, swallowing hard. I think I don't really like this. I clutched my chest, eyes shining with tears. You used to beg for my soup. Now you despise me. He shut up and ate every bite. Eleanor clutched her heart. My son. Richard looked away, unable to watch. The two parents bolted from the room in tragic unison. After he finished, Julian lifted shining eyes like a retriever waiting for praise. I patted his head. Good boy. He nuzzled my palm, purring, any reward. I froze. When I didn't answer, he leaned in and brushed my lips with his. Reflexively, I slapped him gently. He breathed raggedly, gaze dazed. That's a reward too. Again, please. I loved it. Under my tender care, Julian shed 5 pounds in a month. On discharge day, Eleanor and Richard came to take him home. Without hesitation, he threaded his fingers through mine. Mom, Dad, I'm moving in with Serena. Eleanor dragged me into the corridor, smiling like she might cry. Serena, I know you two used to fight, but you grew up together. He's lost those memories. Please be patient with him. I flashed her an eager grin. Don't worry, Aunt Eleanor. I'll look after him properly. She turned her head, pretending she hadn't seen the glint in my eyes. Life at my place was one long downhill slide for Julian. He cooked 3 meals, scrubbed every surface, after each dinner, washed dishes, then mopped floors. Never a complaint, he tackled each chore with solemn devotion. I lolled on the leather couch, cracking sunflower seeds and flicking shells wherever they landed. Julian arrived with broom and dustpan, resigned. Baby, the trash can is right here. My eyes reddened instantly. So I'm a slob you can't stand. Fine, I'll leave you in peace. He panicked and caught my wrist. That's not it, he soothed. You run around barefoot, I'm scared you'll cut yourself. He knelt, easing slippers onto my feet. I stayed mute, glaring tragically. Julian laughed softly. I'll make it up to you. Whatever you want, latest designer bag, new lipstick, I'll buy it all. He handed me his phone. The passcode was my birthday, the lock screen photo my face. Delighted, I swiped through screens, maxing out carts with the priciest items. Julian didn't flinch. He burrowed into my neck, silky hair tickling my chin. Stop being mad, okay? Forgive me. I patted his cheek. Don't let it happen again. 2 months into my private boot camp, I invited Riverdale over to showcase my star pupil. Beside the long farmhouse table, everyone stared into Mom's sunlit farmhouse kitchen, jaws practically scraping the hardwood. Chase's thumb wobbled upright, his face a billboard of awe as he looked at me. You've got winch twisted like this absolute legend. Skylar slapped a hand over her eyes, groaning. The second his memory clicks back, good luck sweeping up the pieces. The rest of Riverdale mumbled, not one daring to finish a sentence. They all remembered how toxic Serena and Julian had been. If one of us had died back then, the other would have danced on the grave. Julian barely touched his own plate. He was too busy peeling shrimp, refilling my rice, floating soup into my bowl. He beamed while he watched me chew. Maybe the silence freaked him out, because he finally flashed a grin around the table. Quick gawking eat, guys. Nobody spoke. Forks just moved faster when the brunch dishes were empty. Julian knotted an apron and attacked the wreckage like a dutiful house husband. Watching him scrub, I couldn't hold it in. Hey babe, anyone ever tell you you're built for marriage? He stripped off the gloves, checked for stains, then crossed the room and crushed me in a hug. Really? Then marry me. I bit my lip to smother the laugh. Absolutely, I said, patting him with evil sweetness, the second the timing feels right. His shoulders shook. He was laughing, too. I added, you were amazing today. He tilted until our noses brushed. Where's my reward? I hesitated, then copied him and brushed his mouth with mine. His breathing turned ragged. Not enough. He trapped my chin and kissed me hard, prying my lips open. The guy's strong almost folded me in half. When things started sliding toward R-rated, I yanked free and slapped him for real. You hurt me. I pressed my split lip, furious. Julian's lashes dropped. He looked wrecked. He bent and licked the tiny cut. Sorry, all my fault. he whispered. I sniffed. Good that you know it. That night he crept onto my hospital bed. Acting like a giant heated stuffed animal, he latched on from behind. I slapped the wandering hand away. Go sleep in your own room. No way. We're dating why the separate beds. Do I disgust you? I touched my sore lip and answered without hesitation, yep. He made a wounded sound. Don't hate me, please. He dragged my palm to his cheek. Hit me again if it helps. I pulled back, deadpan. Hitting him only turns him on more. After that, I kept conversation with Julian to a minimum. I wouldn't eat his food or touch the stuff he bought, so he resorted to stunts. Whenever I walked past, he'd accidentally shatter a plate and whimper over the bleeding cut. Thunderstorm nights, he'd cower in corners pretending to be petrified. I stayed ice cold. Finally he cracked. He burst into my room like a frantic husband. Are you bored of me? Think I'm stale, not fun anymore, ready to kick me to the curb? I sighed theatrically and peeled his hands off my knees. You're imagining things. Julian dropped to one knee, I stubborn. Then explain the freeze. I checked my watch and walked out. Time for work. Stay home and behave. Before the door shut, I took in his silhouette, lonely, abandoned. I practically cartwheeled inside. That afternoon, a downpour hit as I left Vance. I'd forgotten my umbrella and hovered under the awning until Dr. Cardio offered a ride. As we pulled away, I spotted Julian outside the glass doors, a huge umbrella in hand, face blank while he watched me go. Distance shrank him to a dot. Then he closed the umbrella and let the storm drench him. A weird jab of guilt poked me. I'd been home 10 minutes when Julian shoved through the front door, soaked. Hair plastered over his eyes, expression unreadable. I cleared my throat. I honestly didn't see you, wasn't ignoring you on purpose. He stayed silent and stalked into the in-suit master bath. I shrugged and went to sprawl on my hospital bed. Sometime later, the quilt flew back and a burning shape pressed against my spine. I yelped and kicked him away. What are you doing? Hair half-dried, he wore only a bathrobe hanging wide open, torso on full display. I eyed the six-pack, then forced my gaze elsewhere. What's this? A human sacrifice? He wrapped my fingers around his throat and slid them south. I could feel him tremble. Bitter, he muttered, what's so great about him? Shorter, uglier, worse body. That junk car? I'll garage deliver my whole fleet tomorrow if shiny metal thrills you. He kept ranting, body glued to mine. I snatched my hand back and squeezed my eyes shut. Dear God, I'm 25. How much temptation can one woman survive? I tried reason. Leave now, before I stop being responsible. He gave a bitter laugh. Make me. Teeth caught my collar and tugged, mouth branding my shoulder. Stop freezing me out. If you're tired of me, find my body's all I've got left. Take it. I quit resisting and enjoyed the buffet. His skin was scalding. I touched his forehead, definitely fever from the rain. Scared he'd infect me, I shoved him off. Go get N for drip or something. He trapped my wrist and kissed it, slurred, I've got something hotter, want the demo? I woke to the smell of breakfast already underway. Diane rang, vibrating with excitement. Sweetie, have you landed little Joe yet? Ever since I dragged him home, Mom calls every week to check how close we are to the altar. Julian and I grew up side by side. He was always the benchmark I was measured against. He aced every exam, and I got scolded. He woke up earlier than me, and I got scolded. He even ate one more bite of rice than I did, and I still got scolded. Casey, Diane would twist my ear and roar, look at little Julian, perfect everywhere. Now look at you. When we grew up, her roars turned into sighs. Sweetie, when are you going to lure Julian back and make him my son-in-law? I glanced at the messy bed and chose my words. I already slept with him. What? Diane slapped her thigh in excitement. Good girl. Mom knew she could count on you. For breakfast, Julian made congee. He blew on each small spoonful before feeding it to me, watching my face like he was defusing a bomb. Usually, when he looked at me like that, I felt a vicious thrill. Now it only made me restless. Stop staring, I said, eyeing his bloodless lips. You're sick, don't you know it? I'm taking you to the hospital for drip after this. Julian lit up like a Christmas tree. You're finally talking to me. While Head stabbed the needle in, I ducked into the restroom and called Skylar. Sky exhaled slowly. Poor thing, you've fallen for him. Cut the cord fast, or you'll tangle yourself worse. I hung up, convinced I had to end this. I'd only meant to torture him a little while his amnesia lasted. I wasn't supposed to get caught in my own trap. After I picked up the meds, I stepped back into the room. Julian looked at me with guilty eyes. It's my fault. If I weren't so useless, you wouldn't be this tired. I didn't answer, just tossed the bag of pills onto his lap. I'm breaking up with you, I said coldly. Julian looked like someone had whacked him with a 2x4. Why? Last night that was your choice. I cut in. Are you expecting me to marry you? His face chilled, degree by degree. I don't accept. He stared without blinking. I refused to break up. I pretended I hadn't heard and walked out. I went to Vance every day, came home, and never saw Julian. According to Chase, his fever raged nonstop. The 4-backs never left his arm. He even called my name in his sleep. Halfway through the report, Chase couldn't help scolding me. Serena, this was low. A man's most precious possession is his virtue. My mind was a bowl of knotted noodles. Work felt pointless. I asked editor-in-chief for leave and booked a solo trip. While I flung clothes into a suitcase, Skylar called. Her voice shook. Major crisis. My hands froze. Julian got his memory back. Sky confirmed with a grunt. I laughed it off. Great. By the time I come home, he'll have cooled down. Cooled down. She shrieked. He bolted for your place the second he woke. He's probably almost there. Just then the living room chirped, beep, fingerprint verified. I shot down my spine. I crammed half my closet into the bag and sprinted. The instant I yanked the door open, I collided with a wall of muscle. Julian blocked Serena and then lit cigarette between his fingers. He exhaled a perfect smoke ring and spoke through clenched teeth. Darling, where exactly are you going? Step by step he advanced, step by step I retreated, until the back of my knees hit the mattress and I sat down hard. His gaze swept the room, flat and arctic. So this is where you slept with me. With his memory restored, Julian was once again the cold, unreachable prince. I turned my face away. You came on to me, oh? He pinched my chin, forcing me to meet his eyes. Then I was unforgivably rude. I waved both hands in frantic surrender. Misunderstanding, total misunderstanding. The corner of his mouth curved, eyes devoid of humor. You trained me like a dog for 3 months, slept with me, and now you won't take responsibility. I gave him my most pitiful grimace. To consenting adults, right? He gave a soft ah, as if taking notes. So, 0 responsibility. Then he smiled so pleasantly my bones chilled. He pressed a thin thumb against the corner of my mouth, voice husky. Impressive. Before I could react, his forefinger wedged my teeth apart, pushing deeper. Startled, I bit down hard, tasting copper before I let go. Julian studied the bleeding finger as if it belonged to someone else. Sharp as ever, he remarked. Still holding my stare, he dragged the blood across his lower lip, obscene and erotic. I spat sideways. Cut to it. How much do you want? He leaned over, caging me in the cradle of his arms. Treating me like a gigolo? He flicked open his shirt buttons, tilting the collar so the bite mark on his shoulder flashed white against red scar tissue. You bite all your partners this hard. I looked, then looked away fast. That night I'd clamped down in a moment of overload. The scab had fallen off, leaving a permanent crescent. I shoved him useless. Julian stared, clearly prepared to hold me hostage until I produced an answer. I almost cried. Fine, bite me back, even the score. His face twitched. That wasn't what I meant. While he hesitated, I shot my knee toward his groin. He twisted away. I grabbed my suitcase and bolted. His furious roar followed me down the corridor. Serena, are you trying to neuter me? Only after the plane lifted off did I exhale. Julian in full pursuit was terrifying. With any luck, he'd be rational by the time I returned. We talked then like civilized ex-lovers. I dozed, cracked my head against the bulkhead, and felt a large hand brush drool from my lip. I jolted awake, apologizing to the stranger beside me. Sorry, I didn't mean to drool on you. A familiar voice answered, no problem. The man tugged off mask and shades, revealing glacial eyes. Julian? My vision blacked at the edges. Couldn't you wait until I got back? You had to chase me into the sky. He waved his phone, displaying his chat with Diane still wallpapered with my photo. Don't flatter yourself. Diane didn't trust you to travel alone, so she asked me to babysit. I stared at my grinning lock screen photo on his display and groaned, gross. Why keep that? Doesn't it disgust you? He pocketed the phone with a sniff, ignoring me. He looks easy on the eyes, so stay out of my business. I nodded, silently swearing I wouldn't waste another word on him. I'd planned to ignore Julian and enjoy the trip, but the man was a poltergeist with a passport. At breakfast, he parked his plate opposite me, chewing while he stared without a flicker of expression. My appetite flatlined. I fled back to Serena. He pounded until I opened the door, then shoved the plate into my hands. Skip breakfast and you'll get cancer. If you want Diane to bury her only child, keep it up. I pretended the egg was Julian and crushed it between my teeth. Later, when I was chatting up a gorgeous fellow traveler, Julian materialized, flinging an arm around my shoulders and glaring at the guy. Sorry, she's taken. The hottie's face darkened. He shot me a dirty look and muttered, if you've got a boyfriend, don't cruise for hookups, before stalking off. Julian's grip tightened. See? He just wanted to get you into bed. I'd had enough. Are you here to ruin my life? Why can't you evaporate? And since when am I your girlfriend? He bent, lips brushing my earlobe like a live wire. Trying to renege again. His eyes bored into me. Want me to replay the crash night tape? You confessed, remember. I stomped in frustration. And I broke up with you right after. The air around Julian chilled. I didn't agree, he said softly. No agreement, no breakup. A sudden throb of panic hit my ribs. He scooped me up one-armed, carried me back to Serena, and laid me on the mattress. At the threshold he paused, lowered his voice. Good night kiss. A burning imprint landed between my brows. I froze. When Julian had stayed with me during the amnesia act, he'd ended every night the same way. I used to snicker at the needy little ritual so unlike the cold genius everyone feared. Tonight it felt radioactive. Watching him leave, my stomach twisted with something uglier than hatred. I cut the vacation short, bought a ticket home, and ghosted him. 3 days later, the van's glass doors burst open. Julian stormed in, face like thunder, and dragged me out by the wrist. Coworkers gawked over their cubicles, whispering like hungry pigeons. I struggled. He didn't break stride. He shoved me into the passenger seat and punched the gas. Wine howled through the window. I squeezed my eyes shut, voice cracking. Have you lost your mind? His foot eased off the pedal, but his tone stayed razor sharp. You fly home without a word. Do you have any idea how? He dropped to a murmur. How scared I was. I snapped. Why won't you leave me alone? I said it was a mistake. What do you want? A public apology on my knees? Julian laughed, bitter. Serena, your mouth is harder than granite. Is admitting you like me really that terrifying? I unloaded 20 years of grievances in one breath. I'm not a masochist. Why would I like you? Since kindergarten you've beaten me at everything, and everyone compared us, telling me I'd always be second. Top of the class wasn't enough for you. You had to rub it in and bully me on top of it. Tears betrayed me. I couldn't stop them. Julian fumbled for tissues. When did I ever bully you? You're the one who kept picking fights. I slapped the window. No bullying. You stuffed a rat in my desk and called me a leftover woman. He gritted his teeth. It wasn't a rat. It was a pet guinea pig. Chase said girls think they're cute, so I bought one to surprise you. And I wasn't mocking you for being single, he muttered. I was hinting that you should date someone, me, specifically. How dense can you be? Light bulb moment. So that's why you retaliated with a dead garter snake in my backpack. And told the entire school I was gay. I hiccuped, tears drying midair. He pulled over, kissed the salt from my lashes. Stop crying, he whispered. It shakes me apart. I started taking the long way everywhere to avoid him. His fingerprint vanished from my phone. Any party on his RSVP list became a hard pass. Calls went unanswered, texts unread. Eventually, Riverdale smelled smoke. Skylar cornered me, sunflower seed bag crackling. So what's the deal with you and Julian? I hedged. He sort of confessed, I think. Her jaw unhinged, seeds rained like confetti. Imagining Mr. I sking saying, I like you just gave me full-body goosebumps. I shuddered in agreement. Julian's default setting was terrifyingly stoic. Sky crunched another seed. If you feel even a flicker, go for it. Mount that stallion, cowgirl. My feelings were a tangled skein, desire, resentment, awe, and old scars. I loved the same brilliance I hated. His light had always blinded me. I decided to procrastinate on sanity. Then Eleanor rang one evening, voice thick with tears. Serena, please talk to Julian. Fever's over 104 and he refuses the hospital. He's my only child. If his brain melts, I'll die. Panic detonated. I bolted to his penthouse. Every light was off except the one bleeding under his bedroom door. I fumbled inside with my phone flashlight empty. The door slammed. Darkness swallowed me. Julian's arms caged me from behind, mouth hot on my nape. Hi, Dan. Zeke ends tonight, little rabbit. I rammed an elbow into his ribs. Great, a family conspiracy. His voice dropped to sub-zero. Without the lie, you'd have erased me from your memory again. Serena, you're worried because you care, because you love me. Deny it? I stayed silent. Patience snapped. He crushed my lips, knee wedging my thighs apart. I bit back hard. Pity the fever isn't fatal. He chuckled dark, feral. Marry me, Serena. I sagged, spent, but my mouth still had ammo. Men are con artists, I won't sign up for that con. Julian looked down, eyes glittering with challenge. You're scared you'll still lose to me after the wedding. Something rebellious flared. I looped my arms around his neck. Please, I fear nothing. Fine, let's play. Show me your so-called tricks. Turns out Julian has an entire circus of tricks. On our wedding night, I almost couldn't climb out of bed. He pulled my hand to his lips and brushed his thumb over the bite mark on my shoulder. His eyes were dark, unreadable. Look, he murmured. It's still there. His gaze slid to my other shoulder. Leave me one, too. I crooked a finger under his chin and smiled sweetly. Bark like a dog, and I might graciously agree. Julian said nothing, but his breathing turned heavy. Serena, he ground out, if I don't make you beg for mercy tonight, then I really am a dog. Julian's side story. I never had amnesia. I faked it. I've loved Serena since Casey. She loved pink dresses, skin so fair she looked like a strawberry shortcake, and a temper like dynamite. Serena's been competitive since we were kids, has to be first at everything. To get her attention, I had to grind harder, beat her to the top. I thought she'd worship me for it. Instead, she hated me more. I asked Chase how to make a girl like you. He said girls love cute little pets like mice, told me to buy her one. I asked, like a hamster. Chase was certain, a fancy rat. He said Serena is too individualistic to like anything mainstream. Proud of myself, I slipped the fancy rat into her desk and waited for her delighted squeal. Serena pulled it out with zero expression, then locked eyes with me. Next morning, I found a dead garter snake in my backpack. She's got a vicious tongue and never backs down. I retaliated the only way I knew how. Things spiraled in the wrong direction. New Year's Eve, our families dined together. Diane urged her to start dating. I jumped in. I said, at your age, it's time you found a boyfriend. By next day, the whole town swore I was gay. Even Chase clutched his butt and ran. Serena started the rumor. I laughed myself sick. Can't you see who I actually want? The sharper her words, the farther she drifted. I realized we were turning into enemies if this went on. A car crash handed me the perfect pivot. The doctor said the concussion might cause memory gaps. I played along, pretended I remembered nothing. When Diane asked if I recalled anyone, I stared straight at Serena. I thought, this time I'm gluing myself to you. Before I could speak, she hurled herself at me, calling me dear. Well, she walked right into my trap. I tamed my temper, put on a pitiful puppy face, and waited for her pity. For a month in the hospital, Serena showed up daily with wintermelon pork rib soup. She knew I hated wintermelon. She was messing with me. Didn't matter. She was investing time in me. First time I kissed Serena, she froze, then slapped me hard. First time she ever hit me. Hot dash so damn hot. She took me home. Terror of being tossed out made me do everything I could. I love watching her eat food I cooked. Love seeing her lot on sheets I washed. Chase is the only one who knows I never lost my memory. He calls me shameless. A bottom dash feeder. Says mooching off a girl 24/7 is degrading. Whatever, I'm happy. Second kiss. I lost control and bit her lip bloody. She snapped, slapped me again. I grabbed her hand and begged her to hit me more, to vent. After that, she gave me the silent treatment. I was heartbroken. I tried every trick. She stayed indifferent. I went to pick her up in a downpour. Some other guy drove her home. He looked like a wet hamster. No match for me at all. Why him? Serena seemed ready to dump me. My last card. Beg for her pity, her love. When passion peaked, she whispered my name. I saw it in her eyes she loves me. But she never says it, never confesses she used me up, then kicked me aside. Said she wanted to break up. I lost it, couldn't keep the act. I stormed to her place to confront her. She freaked and fled. Ha, heartbreaker. I booked the same flight and chased her. Of course, we were seated side by side. Watching her sleep, I stood in silence. I'll haunt her like a ghost. Why skip breakfast? Stomach will rot. Why chat with other men? Makes me insane. I want to be glued to her 24/7. She slipped home early, probably sick of me. I was frantic. First thing I did was confront her. Tears streaming. She said she hated me, called me a bastard, rambled endlessly. Fury blurred my hearing. All I knew was, Chase, that bastard lied to me. After I confessed, Serena ran for her life. No answer to calls, texts. She even deleted my fingerprint from her door. I camped outside her building day after day. Nothing from then on. Any party I attend, she dodges, claiming she's sick. She's avoiding me. Chase punched me in disappointment. Ask her out. Talk face to face. This limbo is torture. I was just as mad. She treats me like a burglar. How am I supposed to ask? Chase's eyes lit up. Then I trick her into meeting. I plotted with my parents. We hatched a plan. When Serena burst in, panicked, I knew I'd won the bet. She does love me. Coward won't admit it. I proposed. Ordinary methods couldn't keep her. I had to provoke her. She took the bait. I threw her a lavish wedding and slid the ring on with reverence. Now we're bound for life. Serena stays by my side, no escape. She's too competitive. She's meant to fight me, rival me, for the rest of our lives, tangled together until death. Thank you for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.